Hello and welcome back to the 14th, and I believe it's 14th episode of the Kaleidoscope Maker. And in this particular episode I'm going to show you how to make a very popular kaleidoscope that I made and sold during the 1990s, late 1990s. One of my sports related kaleidoscope series. It's the billiard ball kaleidoscope, pool ball. In this particular case, because it's the 14th episode, this is the 14th number 14 ball billiard ball kaleidoscope. Probably the only one I'll produce this year. And it'll end up looking like this. Stay tuned, watch how to do this one, and here's what it looks like inside. Welcome back to another episode of the Kaleidoscope Maker. Apologize for my hair. But this time I'm going to show you how to make a kaleidoscope that was a design that I sold quite well during the 1990s, late 1990s. And I used to make a whole series of sports related kaleidoscopes. And it wasn't my first, but it was my most popular, and one that I really started selling the best was billiard balls. I'm going to show you how to make it. Let me give you a little bit of history. When I first designed these, I designed the kaleidoscope part myself, found all the materials, and made them with check rings, and brass tubes and everything else. But then later on I found out that there was a kit available from Penn State Industries. Hopefully I'll have a link for that on the page so you can find it. I am not promoting them. I get no money from them. This is just the fact that I found out that you could get the parts, and it made it so much easier for me to produce some of the sports related kaleidoscopes I made. In this case it definitely helped out with the billiard balls. They're actually an egg scope, and you'll see what it is. But anyhow, this is an old kit that I had, and I'll show you how it goes together and put it in the billiard ball. And then even though I've designed these things and I've sold them, I give you the right to go ahead and make your own and sell them and make money out of them. Hopefully you'll be kind enough to send a little bit of the money in my direction to help me continue doing these videos. But if not, that's alright. But I'm going to show you how to do it, and we'll be right back. And welcome back. Again, this is the billiard ball. I'm going to do number 14 because this is my 14th episode. Yes, I know I'm still working on episode 11, and I'll get back to it if I can. But this is my 14th episode, so this is going to be a number 14 billiard ball. And I actually have a few more sets that I can turn into billiard ball kaleidoscopes. But anyway, here we go. The kit is called an egg scope kit. It's from Penn State Industries. They mostly deal with making pens, fancy pens, turning objects and that kind of stuff. And the parts that come with it are some mirrors, an eyepiece, and I apologize, this one is, like I said, was an old one. I lost a little bit of the gold plating on it. I don't know if you can see that there. An end piece, the body tube, which is a threaded brass tube. It has a lens, a split ring to hold the lens in place. And I lost them, so I had to make these myself. A clear glass circle for the end of the object chamber, and a frosted, and again I had to frost it myself, glass, and then a little cardboard ring to hold the objects, hold those apart far enough for the objects. So here is basically the technique. I'm first going to start by taking my lens and go clean it. And you put it right here in the eyepiece. You just drop it down in there. Now, one side is concave and the other side is flat. It really doesn't make much difference, but I find out if you put the flat side down, the ring holds better. Then you take the ring and you put it in there. And then you'll need an ink pen or something to push the ring down. And I really can't show you this very well, but you start pushing the ring down and you kind of work it down into place. To where it holds it in like that. Hopefully this will focus here. See? That little ring's holding it in place. So now that's done. Next part, I usually glue this one, but for right now I'm not going to. You just screw it onto the eyepiece. Be careful, because this little ridge right here is very, very sharp. So when you do this, please be careful. Don't cut yourself. And again, I usually glue that. But for right now, I'm going to show you demonstration-wise. Next, you have your mirrors, and they come in these little plastic sheets. They don't have any coating. I mean, they don't have any little plastic things to peel off, and they have the backside marked with little see that little black line? Hopefully you can see the little black line. There it is. Okay. So those will be, and again, you don't see this. You clean them. They're nice and clean. But you do have to blacken the ends. So I'll blacken the end here. And you want to do it on all three mirrors. And you slide one in there. Do the next one. And it will be hard to get them in there with the mirror facing the correct way. Or you could tape them, but they're supposed to fit in there. And I've got shakes. I'm sorry. I'm going through a tough time trying to find a full-time job. There, all three of them go in there, and that's what you have. And again, hopefully it'll focus here to show you. There, you kind of see them. Alright, so that part's done. And the black is to help in case if one of these things fall in line with this eyepiece, which they don't, but I still like blacking them. Next part. Is what you want to do is you want to take the frosted end, drop it down into this piece, and you see that there's a ridge. Again, be careful, that's very, very sharp. So we drop it down in there. We then take a cardboard ring, you drop it down in there or push it down in there. And then we're going to hold this clear one off till we get the little objects. Now, yours probably comes with a bag or a kit of little objects, but I've purchased some additional little glass objects for the kaleidoscopes. And you can basically make your own, cut your own, whatever you want. And I ended up buying some nice little tiny flowers, stars. So I'll just grab a few. Then you can use little chips pieces, tumbled pieces. Whatever you feel appropriate. I usually like to grab some of the smaller ones, and I have some sometimes some real tiny ones in here. There's a, oops, got a piece of dirt in there for my finger. Piece of dirt from my finger. Yay! That'll work too. You can have a piece of dirt from your finger in there. Those seem to be larger ones. This container is smaller ones, and I prefer having more of the smaller ones. Yeah, these are some very tiny ones. A little tiny, I don't know if you can see that little yellowish piece right there? Wetting your finger sometimes helps you pick up these tiny pieces. Tweezers would be even better. Forgot to bring some. I feel like I'm getting a little bit too much red in there. Again, you can pick the colors you like, balance them out. But you don't want to fill it up all the way. I'm filling it up about that far. I don't know if you can see it. Alright, then I put this piece on here. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this end right here and I'm just going to twist it in there. And then I'm going to test it before I put it into the ball. Okay? Looks to me, let me widen out. Looks to me like I want to add a few more pieces. This is actually quite pretty. Okay. So again, just take it apart. Push this thing up from the bottom and you take that clear piece off. Then you kind of push everything back down again. Let's see, I want to add a few more pieces. There's a nice little green piece. Another pink piece. I think I have enough yellow in there. How about a yellow piece? How about a bigger yellow? Okay, just added a few more. I'm going to close that up. I'm going to put these things back away. But again, put on my clear piece. Again, you may want to use gloves when you do this so you don't leave any fingerprints. That one yellow piece seems to be stuck, so maybe it was too big. And it is looking like it's too big. Or maybe it was just locked because of the way I put the piece on there. It held other pieces in place. Make sure the pieces move freely. Yeah, I like that better. Not too overwhelming. Okay. Some people like them busy. Some people like them not quite so busy. I think this is pretty. It's got a lot of red in it. Not exactly my favorite color, but somebody will enjoy it. Yeah, I even used to make special editions where they match the color out here, but I'm not worried about this time. So now, what you want to do, take it back apart, and again, this is where you'll glue it. I will glue this into here. It's too large. Well, I'll have to do something about that. But anyhow, this hole is supposed to be 13/16. 13/16 for the kit. And I think they might have messed up or something, or else it might be this little ring. I think it's possibly this ring. 13/16. Well, let me drill them out, and then I'll show you how it goes together. And you also have to be careful about catching some of the gems inside the little round piece. This is something where you have to be a little fiddly with it. You have to work on it, test it. And so I'll be right back after I work on this little problem. Okay, now since I've gotten that widened out enough, I just did it with sandpaper. Begin 13/16 is, I don't know what about the new kits, but 13/16 is what that hole was at the time that these kits were purchased. And again, this is an old kit. And what you do is you slide it in here, fits in there. And again, I glue it. I usually use something like E6000. And then you'll screw this one on and again glue this thing in. And you'll notice it doesn't come all the way. Doesn't come all the way. I will typically find a piece of brass. Some of my more expensive ones, a piece of brass here. Or what I do is I usually use just an O-ring right there, and it helps you keep from cutting your finger on this sharp edge. Is really what it's all designed to do. So hold on a minute. Okay, what I do is I get an O-ring. This is not the right size. You see it doesn't fit quite right. To help protect the person from getting cut on that. Or again, use a brass or metal ring here to do it. But that's the number 14 billiard ball kaleidoscope, originally copyrighted by me during 1998, 99, something like that. I made a whole series of these that sell complete sets or individual balls. Here's what it looks like inside as you turn it. The objects change. That's it. That's number 14. I'm going to go ahead and finish this one up and sell it. Which gets back to another point. When you do make a kaleidoscope, and whether or not it's your design or not, if you have rights to produce the design, which in this case, if you want to make these, go ahead. What you need to do is you need to sign this, and I sign mine and I date them when I make them. And in this case, I'll use one of those metal etching vibrating pens, and I'll sign because it's what works best on these billiard balls. And I'll go ahead and sign my name and date it, and in my case I'll probably put a copyright because it was my original design. And I designed a number of other sports related kaleidoscopes. Don't want to go into details on all of them, but so there you go. I'll probably sell this one on eBay. So if you see a number 14 billiard ball kaleidoscope from Brett Bensley on eBay, that's the one from this episode. I'll probably even mark YouTube, I don't know, something on it so you'll know. You can definitely tell because it'll have this messed up piece of brass, whatever, but it'll mention on there. And if you want to buy it just for that factor, fine. It'll help me buy some more materials and more kits and continue doing these videos on the kaleidoscope. So hopefully come back. Hopefully I'll have some money and resources and time to do a few more videos. Hopefully I can continue them for a long time, and I'm really hoping to do so. But there you go. There's number 14 using a Penn State Industries Eggscope kaleidoscope kit. Again, they're not funding me. This is not a paid-for advertisement. That just happens to be the kit I used when after I first started making these things by hand. This just works out so nicely and looks very nice in it. And there you go. So please come back, watch some more videos. Hopefully there'll be more. Thanks. Bye.